Have you ever wondered what the heck is prompt engineering? I am Felix.
And I am Ruby.
And today we are about to dejargonize a term that's become central to working with artificial intelligence: prompt engineering.
It sounds technical, but I have a feeling it's something many of us are already trying to do, whether we call it that or not. So what is it, really?
At its core, prompt engineering is the practice of writing instructions for a language model to make sure it produces the output you actually want.
So it's all about how you ask the AI to do something?
Exactly. And it covers a wide range, from the specific wording of a single question to crafting a long, detailed brief.
What would a detailed brief include?
It could set the model's role, define constraints like tone or length, provide examples, and specify the exact format for the output.
It seems like it's part craft and part experimentation then, not just a simple instruction.
That's right. It has quickly emerged as a real and necessary skill in any workflow that relies on generative AI.
So, to make this concept a bit more concrete, is there a good analogy for how we should approach it?
There is, and it's a helpful one. Think of it like briefing a sharp but new contractor.
Okay, so someone who is very capable but doesn't have any prior context for my specific project.
Exactly. If you just say, make the report better, you will get something, but it probably won't be what you had in mind.
That's true. That kind of vague instruction leaves too much room for guessing.
Right. But now, imagine you instead specify who the report is for, what decision it needs to support, and which sections are most important. You even show them a past report you liked as an example.
The work that comes back will be much closer to the mark, and likely on the first try.
Precisely. And the important thing to realize is that the contractor's skill didn't change between those two briefs. Your skill in briefing them did.
That makes perfect sense. So if we extend that analogy, what are the key ingredients that make up a great prompt?
In general, a clear prompt typically defines a few key things. First is the role the model should take. For example, should it act as an expert analyst or a creative writer?
So you give it a persona to start. What else?
In general, you also need to clearly state the task itself, any constraints like length or tone, the format for the output, and who the intended audience is.
You mentioned showing the contractor an example of a past report. Does that work with AI too?
Yes, and it's incredibly effective, including examples inside the prompt, which are sometimes called few-shot examples, shows the model the pattern you want instead of just describing it.
And that works better than just explaining it in words?
Often, yes. For complex tasks, there are other strategies too. Breaking the task into smaller steps or asking the model to reason through the problem before giving a final answer can really improve accuracy.
It sounds like you probably don't get the perfect prompt on the very first try.
That's right. Iteration is a huge part of the process. Most of the strongest prompts are the third or fourth version, refined after seeing how the earlier ones didn't quite work.
That brings up an interesting point. Some people might think that this whole process of careful prompting is just a temporary trick, a workaround that will become unnecessary as AI models get smarter on their own.
That's a very common misconception, but it's not the full picture. While the specific tricks and techniques might change over time, the underlying skill itself doesn't go away.
So even with a much more capable AI, the person who can communicate their needs clearly will still have an advantage?
A dramatic one. The person who can specify a task clearly, supply the right context, and check the output will always get better results than someone who can't. It's much closer to a durable communication skill than it is to a temporary hack.
And I imagine this has a real impact in a professional setting.
Absolutely. In any team that's using AI seriously, the gap between a thoughtful prompt and a careless one shows up directly in the quality of the output, the error rate, and how much time a human has to spend editing the work afterwards.
So, as more work involves language models, the ability to brief them well becomes less of a niche specialty and more of a core skill for everyone.
Exactly. It's quickly becoming a baseline professional competence, not just a role for a few specialists.
That brings us to the end of the episode. If you think we helped you de-jargonize the term, make sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
See you on the next episode.